Welcome back to That Dad Guy. It is February the 18th, 2023. Let me clear my throat before I begin all this speaking. Probably should have done that before I started the video. Anyways, it is pretty cold out today. It is minus 12. I think wind chill is almost minus 20. It's going to warm up, though, to about minus 5 later on today. So, yeah, yesterday, the big snowstorm we were supposed to get never really happened. We got a little bit of sleet, freezing rain, maybe a few centimeters of snow, not very much though. So I suspect that will all melt away in the next coming days, as we're supposed to have some temperatures above zero for a little bit and some rain too. So spring I think might be on the way. It might, fingers crossed that it is. What else do we have to say? Thank you for those of you who have been liking, subscribing, and commenting. Continue to do so. I appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and hopefully you enjoy what we've got going on here. Today is my day where I answer your questions. I'm also going to remind you about the February question at the first of each month, or each Saturday, the first Saturday of each month. I'm going to ask a question to you guys, and then you guys can respond with a postcard to my mailing address, which is in the description, giving me your answer. It's my way of getting to know everybody who's watching a little bit better too, and maybe talking a little bit more about the world and what's out there. So at the end of the video, I will go over the February question again. All right, let's get to the questions that we have this week. First one comes from Amber in St. Louis, and she says, "What is your favorite holiday?" I actually had to think about that a little bit. Certainly as a child, Christmas was my favorite holiday. Getting up, you didn't have any responsibilities. You were off school for a little while. You got to see all those presents that were under the tree. And in my house, my parents usually put presents under the tree before Christmas, and then maybe added some more on Christmas Eve too. So when you woke up, there was a little bit more under there. There was always that temptation of, do you peek in the wrapping before Christmas to see what might be coming? Kind of ruins the surprise though, but the build up for it. In our household too, we had the tradition that we could open one present before Christmas on Christmas Eve. There was always a little present in the tree, because we had a green tree in my household. And then, or you could open one of the maybe bigger presents that were under the tree. It was always a gamble, because sometimes the bigger presents under the tree weren't really big presents, and could be something small, and the small present in the tree might be what you were looking for. Like it might look like a new Star Wars action figure for me in the tree, or it might be a G.I. Joe PlayStation or something in a big box under the tree. Who knows? But those were fond memories. As an adult, Christmas I find is a little bit more stressful. Wondering what the right present is to buy for people. Preparing the meals, making sure everyone seems to be having a good time. And then at the end of the night, you've got dishes that are there that need to be done, clean up. So it is a bit more stressful, I think, as an adult Christmas. So I think my favorite holiday as an adult currently is Easter. One, the weather's nicer, so we can usually go for family walks or something on an Easter. As an adult, in my job too, we get Good Friday and Easter Monday off, so it's a 4-day weekend. That's kind of nice. The kids, they enjoyed still doing an Easter egg hunt, and as an adult, I can hide the eggs in much harder places for them to find. My son's usually pretty good at still finding them. This year, my daughter's at university, so she won't be here, so I'm not sure if we're going to be doing an Easter egg hunt. Certainly, if my son wants one, then we will do one, because I think it's fun that it's a two-part hiding as an adult, or as me as an adult. I hide the presents, or hide the eggs in good spots, hard spots, make it challenging for them. But almost as soon as I've hidden them, I've already forgotten where I've hidden them, because there's usually 20-something each for them to find. And so it becomes a Easter egg hunt for me too. If I can't remember where they are and he can't find the last one or two, we both have to go looking. So it isn't a game for people when you get older, if you can forget exactly where you've hidden them. So maybe Easter is my favorite holiday right now, just because it's still fun as an adult as it was as a child. My kids as grown-up children are still enjoying it, and the weather's nicer. So yeah, Easter it is. All right, thanks, Amber. All right, the next question I have comes from Miss Plume in Quebec, and she says, what language would you like to speak fluently, and why this one? Sometimes it's English, because I trip over my own words, but if I would have to say what language, maybe Japanese, just because if you've watched any of my older videos, if people ask what country would I like to see, most of all, Japan is always top on my list of countries that I'd like to go to. And if I was there, it certainly would be nice to be able to be fluent in the local language, to converse with people and to get their stories and find out more about, you know, maybe the better places to go to, the better restaurants, food to try, walkways that maybe aren't touristy that are worth going to see. So probably Japanese. Most useful probably would be Mandarin or something like that, with the amount of cultural exchange and things that we have, and the growing Chinese population, and how the economies mix together. So yeah, maybe, but I'm gonna say Japanese. Japanese would be the one I'd like to learn and be most fluent in. Will I ever? Probably not, because I'm kind of lazy sometimes. So yeah, probably not. But thank you, Miss Plume, for that question. All right, my next question comes from David, and he is in San Francisco in the US. He says, as your collection and involvement with Postcrossing increases, I'm curious as to what opportunities and experiences you feel this hobby has allowed you to explore and develop. Well, this hobby basically put me into making YouTube videos again. So what opportunities it's allowed me to connect with so many more people. Postcrossing, even if I didn't have YouTube, has done that, letting me converse regularly with new people from around the world. It's opened my eyes to even more spots that I want to see and travel one day. So yeah, it's really broadened my experiences, and also during COVID has really allowed me to see the world and to meet a whole bunch of new people. So that certainly is an opportunity and an experience that the hobby has allowed me to explore and develop. Said in other words, looking back at your experiences, how do you feel you have personally benefited from Postcrossing besides meeting new people? All right, so I probably should have finished that sentence. I've gotten more of an appreciation for the mail. I know as a person who works for the post office, I should have an appreciation for the mail, but it'll give me a chance to look back a little bit more at history too, history of the postcard, history of the stamp. I've done lots more digging into the subject, and with YouTube I certainly have tried to develop that and put out more content on both hobbies. So yeah, I think Postcrossing has done that. I think it's you know, it's reinvigorated my need for wanting to go to the mailbox and see what has shown up. He says, okay, second question, if I may, what limitations, financial or otherwise, do you find yourself placing on your Postcrossing hobby these days that you weren't concerned about 1 or 2 years ago? Yeah, definitely. When I first started Postcrossing, I was more about getting more swaps, you know, because when you first start out, you can only send 5 cards, and then you're waiting for someone to return. So it's kind of slow, so you get more into direct swaps. I certainly don't do that anymore. Not that I don't do direct swaps. I certainly do direct swaps, but I am not canvassing to do them anymore like I was before, because it gets too expensive. And that's the limitation, is that you kind of have to budget for how many stamps, how many postcards. I've got a nice supply of postcards now, so I don't really need to buy too many at present. I might come across 1 or 2 in my travels that I haven't seen before and pick them up. Sure, I might do that. But for the most part, I've got a good stock now, so I don't have to buy them. But every week I have to replenish the stamp supply, because I send about 15 to 20 postcards a week. If you do the math on that, that gets expensive. So my limitations now are not sending too many postcards, being in control of how many stamps that I'm buying, so I'm not putting myself in the poorhouse or putting my family in the poorhouse too. I know building my channel, my YouTube channel, I certainly want to continue to have content to show you guys. So I want to be able to have things to show you on Sunday when I'm writing up my postcards. I know I'll have things to show you on the Friday when I'm receiving my postcards. And Saturday we have this. Those are the 3 guaranteed videos I do each week. I have been doing stamp videos during the week, so if someone's sending me stamps, I have those to showcase. I have my father's collection back there, which I do showcase on weeks that I don't have any extras that have come in. And sometimes certain events happen during the week too, whether it's a festival that might happen, or Valentine's Day, for example, or when I got sick with my back, I had a couple healthcare videos out there, so I try to fill all that in. I know I'm getting off the question topic of limitations, but what I really wanted to focus on with post-crossing is the development of the hobby, and the limitations are personal. So the limitations become not wanting to overexert or overspend my budget, and I think a lot of us have that concern, is that the budget becomes a big big personal problem with it, because you want to send cards. If you've got the slots to send, you want to send them out. If people are writing you, you want to feel you can write them back in a timely manner. And sometimes you have to ease off and slow down and say, okay, I'm only sending this amount this week, and then next week maybe I won't have as many cards come in, and then I can catch up a little bit with some of the slots. So those are the limitations. I hope that answers all those questions, David. I appreciate it. I know I went down a bit of a rabbit hole, but I think I found my way back out all right. So thank you to Postcrossing for all the good things you do, and showing me some of my limits as well. So that answers David's, that answers Miss Plume's, that answers Amber's. I think we're all caught up in questions. Not a whole lot coming in, but still more to do. Next week, just look at the calendar. Yeah, we have one more week of you asking me questions, and then we'll get to answering the question that I asked of you, and go through all the cards. Now, I have gotten a few cards in. I'm going to review the question for February. So what we're asking is, what thing in your area would you highly recommend a tourist to see if they can only visit one thing, and why? So I'm asking you to send a postcard. It could be a postcard of that thing too, which is extra helpful, because when I show it, people will know what we're talking about. But on the back, write question 1, write your answer to the question, and send it to my P.O. Box address, which is in the description of this video. And then on, it looks like March the 4th will be the Saturday that I'm going to show you these cards, tell you about people's answers, and we're going to get to know a little bit of the people that are coming in. Now, should you have written an answer, we've got a new binder picked out for all these cards. If you should have an answer to question number 1, and it arrives after March the 4th when I do the video, you'll have a number 1 on it, so I'll know what question it pertains to. And so in the following month, if I have extras that didn't make it in time, I'll answer those ones then too. So that's the great thing about numbering them, to let me know what answer your question goes to which question. I think it's going to work out. So far it's working out. So hope you like it. Hope you leave comments and questions. Hopefully you're subscribed, and yeah, leave a question for next week so I've got something to answer. All right, you guys have a magical week. What follow? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
Bye.